Hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
Hey,
Hey.
how's it going?
Oh, good. I was just like, oh my God. For some reason in my head, I was thinking it would be 7 o'clock for me, not 5 o'clock. My bad.
No worries. No
How's it
worries.
going?
It's going. It's going. We're just
Good. Yeah, just tell me like when your family gets there and I will shush up. You can go have dinner.
yeah. No, I mean, the kids are going to be here and we're gonna have dinner and stuff, but it'll be around 7. It's not going to be exactly at 7, so
Okay,
we'll get rolling here and see how it goes here.
cool.
All
So
right.
where are you living at right now?
We're in Northfield, Minnesota,
Okay.
so it's probably like 45, 50 minutes south of Minneapolis, St.
Nice.
Paul.
Nice.
Um, it's the home of defeated Jesse James. Like the
Oh, cool.
The outlaw Jesse James robbed our bank. It was like the last bank James King ever robbed was in Northfield. So we have
That's
a
sweet.
big. It's like the third biggest festival in Minnesota is the defeated Jesse James days.
Cool.
So it's kind of a cool historic little town in Minnesota.
Nice. Is
So
it small?
yeah, like 20,000 people. So I mean, it depends on like where you're living and like
Your
you
version of
know
small.
your version of small. So it's probably more of like a medium-sized town, I guess.
Nice. Yeah, mine's
So
only 7,000, so that's pretty
yeah, that's pretty
pretty big
small.
compared to me. Yeah. So I haven't seen you since our award show
Yeah,
performance. How's it
this has
going?
been
What
a
have you,
while.
I know. What have you been
Yeah.
up to?
We've just been gigging a bunch. The summer was, I think, the probably the busiest summer we've ever had as far as the amount of shows. Um, some weeks there were 4 shows in a week, and I would say pretty consistently about 3 per week.
Wow.
Um, so, but like I say, sometimes there was 4. Um, so we were busy, as busy as I can possibly be with, because I still have a day job too. So there's not,
Right.
you can't take on too much more than we were already doing. We were pretty stretched then, just trying to work a day job and do all the shows we do. So,
Right. What's
um,
your day job?
so heavy equipment operator. So I've worked as a 49er for like 13 years now. So
Nice.
excavating essentially is what I work. Um, and that can be pretty crazy, but I left the company I was with for many years was based out of Rosemont, Minnesota, and we would work 80 hours a week minimum, it was pretty crazy. And so I ended up leaving there because it was getting to the point where I couldn't keep playing music and do that job. I had to kind of choose one or the other because I was
Right.
just running myself into the ground. So the company I work for now is much better. The owner is a guy I went to high school with, and he totally knows my situation with music, and he's very flexible with me.
Cool.
So, so that makes life a little easier, but it's still really busy. I mean,
Yeah.
um, even with him being flexible, it's a lot to take on,
Right.
But
Yeah, I think we all still have day jobs. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're still working in the salon?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm not that famous yet. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
definitely still working in the salon."
we're grinding away, but
Yeah, not that I'm not putting the effort out to do that, but you
right.
guys, yep, you can
Yeah,
still get your haircut.
we did 1 year of full-time music, and that was it was probably the one of the funnest years we've had
Yeah.
because we were just full-time music, but like we were just kind of going backwards financially. Like we can't. My wife and I have two houses. We have a house in New Mexico and a house here,
Oh,
and 7 kids between the two of us. And
oh my
my
God.
wife, my wife travels a ton back and forth, and so it's a like the type of life that we live is it's hard. I mean, even if we didn't live that life, it would be hard to just make it by just on music. But we're
Right.
just, that's just our situation, and so yeah. But it's we got to really start making some serious money if we're gonna try to go back to music full time again. But
No
you know,
kidding. Do you think that
all's
was
well.
pretty beneficial in the sense of like making connections and getting out to new venues?
Yeah, or in the future here, so my youngest daughter is a senior in high school right now.
Hmm.
And so once she goes off to college uh, next fall here, we're I'll be spending a lot more time in New Mexico in the wintertime. But
Hmm.
as of right now, I stay home here in Minnesota a lot.
Yeah.
A lot even in the wintertime is I don't get away too much down there because I still have time with my daughter. So it's like
Right.
between gigging and and my time with my youngest, it's hard for me to get away. But once she's off to college and stuff, it's we've kind of made a decision like Minnesota is going to be kind of going away for for 5 months out of the year. We're going to be down there for the most part.
Yeah.
Still come home a little bit and play, but we do want to try to start developing a little bit of a following and getting something going down in that area
Yeah, for sure.
for the winter time. So yeah, but nothing's really set in motion yet as far as that goes. So yeah, so we'll
Yeah,
see.
it's tough to have steady gig income in the winter time. I would imagine over there is not much different than over here.
Yeah, it's really not. I mean, like the weather in like right outside Albuquerque, New Mexico in the wintertime, like your highs are 50 or 55 degrees for your highs. So it's like
Yeah.
it's warmer than being in Minnesota for sure, but it's not like patio season. You're
Right.
not playing like outdoor shows.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, I would assume that wintertime there for live music is going to be kind of like what it is here, where it's things slow down a little bit. There's not as much going on. I mean, we still stay busy, but if we're I would say more consistently, like it's one show per week now
Hmm.
versus in the summertime it can be three or four. So like,
Right.
thing it does definitely slow down. But that's just kind of the name of the game when you're playing in these cooler climates.
Yep, it
So
sure is. What have you
yeah.
been doing with your downtime with your music then? Are you writing? Are you put anything
Y-
new out?
Yeah, we've been releasing a bunch of stuff here recently. So and we have I think 3 more songs that are like all done that are ready to be released. So it will probably be like a 6 or 7 week rotation because we're doing singles.
Yep.
Um, because that seems like the best way to go about it these days versus albums. But as much as we like putting an album out there, it just doesn't seem like it pays.
I know.
Um,
That's one thing I wish I would have known before I released my whole album at once
mhm.
because then I was
Yeah,
like, well, this sucks. I can't, like in some promotion stuff or whatever, like you have to register all that stuff before it's live. And I didn't know
hmm
that. So I'm like, well, I just screwed that up for 10 songs.
yeah. I know it's tough because like if you're releasing something consistently, like I say every month or
Mhm.
every 6 weeks or whatever, it kind of keeps people coming back. People who are following you on those streaming sites and stuff, they they'll get notified that you have
Yep.
a new single out, and it keeps them coming back if you
Right.
keep feeding them singles, versus an album. They'll get notified the album's out, but then you know that's it. Now you got 10
Right.
songs on there that kind of don't really get the attention that they maybe deserve. So
Yep.
yeah, it's tough, but anyway, so yes, we've just had a few songs that have come out recently, and now like I said, like a few more coming out, and then yeah, I mean, but winter time is definitely the time for me to do the most writing.
Hmm.
My wife's a writer too, so like
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, that's
a
cool.
lot of our songs are actually co-written together, and so um so the winter time when like the shows aren't so crazy busy, that's kind of the time to write.
Yeah.
She's been writing lately, and I've been writing, and we try to put those things together during this time of the year, and then even studio time typically is this time of year. My guitar player Jinty, I don't know if you remember Jinty. He played lead guitar at the award show. He's from India. He's
Oh yeah.
an Indian
Yeah.
guy
Yep.
and super super talented. He's toured all over the world, and he moved to Northfield in 2019 from India, but his wife is the music professor at St. Olaf College, which is the one of the colleges in Northfield. Northfield's got two pretty big colleges in here
Hmm.
in this town. So Carleton College and St. Olaf College are both very like nationally recognized colleges, and so his wife is a music professor at St. Olaf, and that's what brought him here. But they have a four year old daughter now, and she's barely ever gotten to meet or be around any of her family from India, and so she got time away from school, from teaching,
Hmm.
sabbatical or whatever they call it, where
Yep.
because she's tenured there now, and so they went for 4 months. They just left here right around right after Christmas time, and so they're gone for 4 months,
Oh
going
man.
back to India to be with family and stuff, and so typically we would do most of our recording out of Jinty's. He has his own recording studio at his house, and he's very like as great as he is as a guitar player and musician. Like he's just as good as a sound engineer. Like just like recording like and creating all that stuff is like his
Uh-huh.
thing. He just really loves that. So instead of going, we had gone back and forth to Nashville a lot in the past.
Hmm.
A good friend of mine, Casey Wasner, is down there, and Casey's won a couple Grammys now. Like Casey's worked with everybody from Jason Isbell and Kev Mo and these really big names. And he's from Northfield originally. But even though he would give us a deal, it was still really expensive to take everybody, our whole band down there and do all that stuff. So once Jinty got here and his studio got all set up and everything like that, we started doing almost all of our stuff here
Oh,
because it's so much cheaper to just
right.
do it all right here. It's awesome to go down to Nashville and
It
do that stuff, but it's also like it saves us a ton because if you take your whole band and stuff down there like we were and get an
Yeah.
Airbnb and stuff and everybody stays and you do the studio work, I mean that gets very very expensive. And
Yes.
so for us now we tend to do most of that stuff home here. But like I said, Jinty's gone, so we won't be doing any recording this winter. Um, Other than maybe my buddy Jason Paulson. You've probably heard of Jason Paulson
Hmm.
band. Me and Jason are good friends, and so he does some recording as well. So this winter, him and I might team up and do a song or two, maybe, but nothing's set in stone with that either. But so yeah, this will be. Luckily, we have all these songs that are like ready now to be released.
Right.
But unfortunately, we probably won't be back in the studio until Jinty gets back, and then, like I say, then by the time he gets back, that's gonna be May, and we're gonna be really busy starting up with our summer schedule,
Right.
and so it'll realistically probably be like you know next December before we like
Right.
really get back in the studio. Um, but in the meantime, we'll just try to make as much material as we can and get it ready for the studio,
Yeah,
fine
for
tune all that
sure.
stuff. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of
Cool.
what's going on with us.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Do you have a fill-in guitar player if like some gigs come about before he gets home?
yeah, oh yeah. So it worked out perfect. So when Jinty was going to be leaving, have you ever heard of Travis Staymart? He's a part of the Midwest CMO.
I don't think
He's
so.
he's based out of like the Otana area, I believe. Yeah, Travis Staymart is his name, and he has a guy named Chris Rose that plays guitar for him.
Mhm.
They call him Telecaster Chris. You might be friends with him on Facebook. I don't know, but Telecaster Chris is like a phenomenal lead guitar player,
Cool.
and and it just worked out that Travis Staymart, his band, and like all the stuff they do all the summer. They're busy just like we are all summer.
Yeah.
But he, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was for writing or what the reasons were, but he was going to take off most of the winter uh, and not be gigging basically at all. And
Hmm.
so they opened for us over the summer. We were down at the Steele County Fair in Owatonna, which is like the biggest county fair in Minnesota. It's a really big fair. Like
Really?
Yeah, really big artists like Chris Jansen was there this year and stuff. It's a pretty big fair. I mean, like Minnesota's got a lot of county fairs that are really
Right.
big, and this is the biggest. So, um, but anyway, we were doing a show. They opened for us, and that's how I got to know this Telecaster Chris Rose,
Oh,
and it just had uh, I don't know. I could tell he was an amazing guitar player, and we knew Jinty was going to be leaving, and
yep.
so I just kind of like basically put it in his ear, like, "Hey, man, if there's ever a time, Jinty's going to be gone all through the whole winter and gone till May, so if you're ever willing to do some freelancing and whatever, I would love to get you to come play." And it just turned out he's like, "Oh yeah, well actually Travis is going to be taking off almost all winter from gigging, so he's like, I actually got a lot of time and." I don't know. So
Nice.
that's kind of how it came about
That's
was
perfect.
yeah. And like I said, that they're gonna get busy, start playing in May, and Jinty's coming back, so it's gonna work out just great. But he's such a versatile player. He plays steel guitar as well, like pedal steel. So like
Nice.
even we even talked about now because kind of developing a relationship with this guy. So like even like some of our bigger shows, we're playing some bigger festivals over the summer. So maybe we'll try to like have a six-piece band and have Chris
Right.
come play some, pedal steel and play a little electric guitar too. But like try to add another element to our band that we don't have.
Right.
Um, so
That's awesome.
yeah, so we'll see. We'll try to keep that relationship going and so see where it takes us. So.
Yeah, no kidding. That's perfect because it's about impossible over here to find a fill-in lead guitar player. I don't know about
Oh
everything,
yeah.
but
It's
yeah,
it's
if
not
you're
easy.
down,
It's
no.
not easy for sure. But it's like that's easier than finding somebody like finding a really good keys player, finding
Mhm.
someone to play fiddle or something like that's almost
It
impossible. Where if
is.
you're down in Nashville, there's fiddle players everywhere.
Right.
Like it just depends on where you're at and like what instrument. But it seems like in this area in Minnesota, like there's a lot more lead guitar players than there are even like bass players. It seems like even like we're going through a transition right now where we're trying to find like a new permanent bassist
Hmm.
and that has been really hard for us to find like our guy who's going to be our guy.
Yeah.
That's been really hard to find that guy. We've got a few guys that are good like fill-in guys, but we we're struggling to find a set in stone basis. But I see all the time there's lead guitar players everywhere that are available, whatever. But
Yeah.
so yeah, it seems like that's not as big of an issue here as far as that goes. But nonetheless, finding someone who's that's good, that's available, that's a
Right.
whole nother thing. And so this, finding Chris was definitely we were definitely lucky for that for sure.
Yeah, you were.
So, yeah,
That's really, really lucky.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you guys
So
coming to the awards show?
yeah, that's the plan. I don't know if we'll have our whole band down there this year because Jinty won't be here for the award show.
Right.
Um, and we don't have a set in stone bass player yet. So right now, like it'd be like a three piece with our keys player and my drummer and myself.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Chris Rose, like the guy who's sitting with me now, I think he's gonna end up being down there just because between stuff with Travis and with us, maybe he'll end up coming down there, especially if we do get nominated again this year. We've been
Right.
nominated the last few years in a row, but there's no guarantee we're gonna be nominated for anything this year.
Right.
But it still would be nice to go down there, even if we're not nominated, just to be down there
Yep.
and how if we get asked to play, I have no idea what's going to happen there. But even if we don't get nominated for something, there's a chance you could get asked to play. So if we did get asked to play, we would probably have to do more of an acoustic type thing if we were going to do something.
Right.
And so we'll play that by ear and see what happens. But I'm sure Chris would definitely become willing to come down there and play guitar since Shinty's not going to be around. So you know.
Yeah. No
And he
kidding.
might be, and like I say, Travis, the guy he plays with now, might be down there. He might be nominated for something, so he'll already be down there anyway. So it'll just work
Right.
out perfect, in that sense. So, but yeah, and there's when you get all those people together down there, there's a whole bunch of bass players and a whole bunch of all
Yeah.
these, so essentially we probably could put a band together by just like having some other guys come in and sit in for my,
Yeah.
whatever. So I'm sure we could make it happen if they really wanted us to play a full band thing or something. Obviously it's just one song or whatever. So
Right. Yeah.
so that's not so hard to put together. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. You're not doing like a 3 hour set, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
Are you,
uh,
so have you played at the award show every year?
no, so last year was the very first year we played. The year before, um, we were already booked, so we were asked to play. We were nominated the year before for Americana Artist of the Year,
Uh,
and we were asked to play, but it was a show we just couldn't get out of. It was something for a friend, a big fundraiser for a friend of ours, and it's one of those things where you're not
yeah.
gonna. Yeah, it's
Right.
just like we'd love to be there, but unlike that year, they've done a better job now of getting it kind of set in stone early,
Yeah.
so we can all make plans for it. That
Right.
particular year, we found out like 2 months before that that when it was going to be happening, and it was just like you know how it is. We get booked like many months in
Right.
advance,
Yep.
and and uh, and our Saturdays are booked. So like typically like these award shows in the past, they would try to do them on Sunday so that almost all the artists could be there present for this thing.
Right.
Um, but then to switch and do it on a Saturday with very little notice, it was just like so many of us couldn't be there, you know.
Right.
Where now at least when we finished last year at the award show, they told us like
Yep.
April 12th or whatever, like this is it's set in stone. So like you can make plans then and say, okay, like we're putting this on our schedule right now, unless
Yep.
somebody had you already booked that far in advance. But most likely,
Right.
most of us were going to be available at that point. So that's the smartest thing they did was like, okay, we want to keep it a Saturday. We understand that you guys are all playing Saturday, so we're going to try to get this in the books early. Um, and so, yeah, I think that's probably the best way they could do it,
Yeah.
to, let people know early or do it on a Sunday or something.
Right.
So otherwise, yeah. So.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, it's not just like you call in sick at
Hmm.
your job, you're committed at that point. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Yep, yep.
So speaking of nominations, which ones are you vying for this year? What are you qualified for? What did you
Um,
turn in this time around?
so my wife does all that social media stuff and takes care of all our booking and stuff. So
Yeah.
she just actually kind of put a thing together yesterday. So offhand, I'm trying to remember, but I know that we have a song called "My Best Man" that was released back in January,
Mhm.
and we're really proud of that song. And so I think that's up. We're trying to get nominated for Song of the Year for that,
Yep.
and we did I think a really cool music video for it as well. So we're
I need
put
to
that
check
for a
that
music
out.
video, and then the Chad Johnson Band for Band of the Year, which is we were up for that last year, um, and then I think Americana Artist of the Year, um, and there's two other singles released as far as I think it's called Ride Along, um, is in there, and a song called Did I Break. So those songs, along with My Best Man, I think were put in, to if people think that those are potential song of the year type,
Yeah.
singles are not worthy or whatever. I think we just kind of you put these things out for people to see, and like if they want to vote for them for those things, and they vote for them, whatever. But yeah, so I think you know, band of the year, Americana artist of the year, and then those new songs, whatever.
Cool.
Um, so yeah, that's kind of where we're at. But
Yeah,
we'll
I
see what
definitely need to
happens.
look up the your video because I was trying to figure out who even put music videos out this year. And I think
Oh
it'd be
yeah.
cool in the future is if like as soon as you had a new release out, whether it was a music video or a single or a whole album or whatever, like be able to register your stuff so that it all
Hmm.
goes into, like a doc or a database or something. So that
Yeah,
when
yeah.
award show time comes up, then they can say, okay, you can put that out and go, these are all the artists that put out a music video. These are all the artists that had a single this year, whatever.
Hmm. Yeah, that'd make it a lot easier, right?
Because
Because
yeah, otherwise I'm like just searching through everybody's social media trying to think of like, did you have a song, any
right,
music
yeah,
video out this year? Like, I don't know how to.
yep. I could
So
definitely send you a link to the video.
yeah,
It's
dude.
it's called obviously my YouTube page is Chad Johnson Music on YouTube or whatever.
Mhm.
And the song's called My Best Man, but I'll definitely send you a link
Yeah, I want to
to
watch
that.
it.
But yeah, we did it ourselves, and I think it turned out
Oh,
really nice. I mean, it's a really heartfelt song about my best friend from growing up, and still today we're basically in our mid 40s and we're still best buddies, and so like the
that's
song's
awesome.
about him and our relationship. So,
That's very
um,
cool.
so yeah, it's kind of neat. There's some like old school pictures and stuff in there from when we were in our younger days, and I don't know, it was cool.
Fun.
So
Is
yeah.
that the first music video you've ever done?
No, there's other videos. I mean, like we haven't done a ton of music videos as far as like it depends on what you because we have like live performance music videos and
Right.
stuff. But as far
Right.
as like a I don't know, like your typical music video, it was
Right.
kind of changed compared to how it used to be back in the
Yep.
CMT days back in the
Yep.
day. I mean, like it's very different. So like I would say more music performance videos type stuff
Hmm.
there. We have that stuff. We have a song called Minnesota Nice that has a pretty cool music video to it, and that's Minnesota Nice is about Northfield and Jesse James coming into our town, and that's what I wrote the song about was about that like have being prideful in the fact that our town was the town that ended the reign of Jesse James and his outlaws, outlaw
Cool.
gang or whatever.
Yeah.
And so if you ever get a chance to watch Minnesota Nice, that's a cool video too because there's actually like real like cowboy stuff in that and like reenactment type stuff,
Cool. Yeah,
because that
I'll
was
definitely watch it with this one.
yeah, yeah. So there's some of that stuff there, but yeah, not a ton of videos. It's to do those really like uh intricate videos. I mean, it can
Hmm.
get really expensive if you hire like a video company and you want
Oh
to do that.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, Luckily, like my wife and stuff has like all the camera equipment to do all that stuff now.
Oh really? Cool.
But yeah, but it's more about having the time to be able to actually dig into it and do it because
Right.
there's a lot going on in our life and it's hard to find the time to do that. But that is one benefit thing is that, if we can find the time, we can save a lot of money doing it ourselves. Because it's super expensive trying to hire
It
somebody. I mean,
is.
you're spend a 3 to 5 grand on a music video in a blink of an eye. I mean, like it's
Right.
so crazy. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
But
either. And I don't know that the music videos really get you anywhere with like your music being found at this point. So
yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably
it's I
more
mean,
for just the fun of it than it is for really career benefiting. But
exactly. I think if you have a song that really hits,
hmm.
like say it's streaming wise, and all of a sudden you
Yep.
get a song that maybe gets like a million hits, those people who like that song might be seeking out a
Right.
video. So
Right.
then you better get your
Yeah.
rear end going on getting a
Yeah.
video because you could probably really capitalize on having a YouTube like a really nice video done for that song. But yeah, it's I think you're more likely to have when it comes to videos and stuff on YouTube or something hitting, almost
Mhm.
doing like these little short videos or like just like a really just plain Jane acoustic video
Yeah.
that maybe you cover a certain artist and people will find you that way, and
Yep.
then maybe once you develop a following where you have thousands of people like going to your YouTube page, then maybe it's more worth
Right.
putting money like that into like a video because you know that there's gonna be a big batch of people that are gonna be watching. Otherwise, if you don't have that kind of following, it's like you're spending a lot of money for not like you said, not a big payoff.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of
um,
covering stuff, have you done a CMO cover challenge yet?
I have not. I don't. I guess I heard something. Chris, the guy who's been playing guitar for me here since he's been gone, he had mentioned something about these challenges, but I haven't. I haven't seen anything or done anything myself. But
Okay.
yeah, that's what's
Yes.
going around. People are challenging people to do like, certain
Yeah,
covers or
so
what?
I think Nikki and I'm not sure who else came up with this idea just to help all of us as CMO members just get more familiarized with everybody's work is
Hmm.
to do a cover challenge, but it has to be a CMO member's song. And
Oh,
then
I
so
see.
you do it and then you nominate the next person to do it or whatever. So and then it just snowballs from there. So you can pick whatever. But it's been kind of
Interesting.
fun to watch everybody else's and then it brings some light to, oh, I didn't know she had a song like that or whatever. So
Hmm.
um,
That's cool.
yeah, Christina Pasick did one of mine for the challenge, and she did it all piano, and it was
Hmm.
really cool because I don't have any piano in my band. So,
Okay.
so to hear my own song in a version of just pure piano and nothing else was really, really cool.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's got to be pretty crazy to hear something like that.
Yeah, I was like, holy
In a
smokes,
completely
because
different
she
way.
clearly had to make that all up herself because I don't there's no
Hmm.
piano to follow in it. So
Oh,
um
well,
So
that's
yeah,
really
you're gonna
cool.
have to figure out who you want to cover and
Yeah,
get that done.
interesting. Might have to think about that.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them that are great. Um, I mean, I'm really good friends with Jason Paulson, so that would probably be like one of the most like obvious ones for me, just because
Yeah.
I'm so familiar with Jason. And we even do like this coming weekend, we're doing a big theater show together. He's like our featured guest.
Oh, cool.
Um, so that'd be kind of a cool one because I've even done songs in the past that Jason wrote. For the most part, everything we release is songs that either myself or my wife write.
Yep.
But I have done two songs in the past that Jason wrote, and like he wrote them, and then he like basically said, "Hey, I think this would be a great song for you."
Uh-huh.
And then like he would like send them to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, I think that would be great." And then so I took two of those songs down to Nashville and recorded like so they're like technically his, but I made them my own, and
Right.
they're like my part of my original list of songs I play live and stuff, you know. But
Cool.
um, so yeah, I don't know, but I will definitely have to think about that.
Yeah,
Do
you're
a real challenge.
yeah, for sure. I know I need to do mine too, but so let's see. What is like some of your, I assume you do full band most all the time when you do shows?
I would say I probably do in the wintertime. I bet you it's 75% acoustic shows
Oh, okay.
versus full band. And even in the summer, I bet you it's still 60-40. I do
Really?
a ton of acoustic
I
shows. So
figured you would do a
Jinty,
lot of full band stuff.
yeah, we do. There's a lot, but it depends on what you I mean. Like I would say it's pretty consistent to at least one full band show a week in the summertime and sometimes two. But I'm playing, like you said, 3 or 4 times a week. So like, you know, usually, two or three of those are acoustic shows. And uh my guitar player Jinty and we do an acoustic duo when we do. I mean, it's very, very busy.
Yeah.
Um I do percussion with playing guitar and singing and stuff. I do like foot percussion.
Really?
So we can do our acoustic shows and we have like a lot going on. There's a lot
Yeah.
of elements to our show, and so they become fairly popular, and we stay really busy doing the
That's
acoustic thing.
cool.
And to me, there's such a demand for it, and the money is good, and there's
Yeah.
way less involved as far as overhead and like getting everybody else lined up to do it, whatever.
Right.
So it tends to be a thing that we kind of lean on a lot, just because it's very profitable for us to do that. And sometimes full band shows can be not as
Hmm.
great, so we'll take the good ones and
Yeah.
whatever, but sometimes it's like we can make more money to go and doing these acoustic
Mhm.
shows. um but other guys in the band, we want to play more, and so we got to try to be mindful of that too. Like
Yeah.
my drummer Andy wants to play all the time, and so we want to try to keep him busy too.
Right.
So that is the thing, you kind of try to make sure your bandmates are happy with the month that they're playing too.
Right.
So,
Do you
so
feel
yeah, I
like
don't know.
doing all that acoustic stuff has really helped people discover you as an artist so that
For
they,
sure. Oh
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I would say through all the acoustic shows through the years. I mean, that's how we get most of our like a lot of like a big portion of our band shows, just because people get to know us doing our acoustic show, and they'll come up and, hey, do you guys have a full band? And they'll
Oh,
say, yeah, this opportunity, but they're looking for a full band, so they'll be wondering if we have a full band.
yep.
And then other times people see our full band and they'll be like, hey, we have something that's coming up. It's too small for like a full band, but do you guys have an acoustic option? And like, oh yeah, we definitely can do. It's like I think both things kind of help each other out. I mean, just if you're as long as you're staying busy doing your music,
Right.
and whether
Right.
it's acoustic or it's full band, it's only helps you.
Yep.
Um,
I
so
never really put much thought into doing a bunch of acoustic stuff. And then everybody, now that I've been doing these interviews, like a lot of people do spend a lot of time doing acoustic stuff. And I think I've kind of been screwing myself over by not doing that because it's good
yeah,
exposure, and I
it's
just
great
always was like,
exposure.
man, I don't want to be a just a solo acoustic act. Like I want to build a full band, but I think
Hmm.
there's a lot of benefit involved now that I've seen it from the other side.
Yeah, uh, definitely try to do both. I mean, like for years I would like just do the acoustic stuff on my own or whatever, and
Mhm.
like, and it would be, you would always run and try to put a band together, and
Yep.
because there's an element that's a lot of fun with having all your friends together and like
Oh
going
yeah.
to play full band shows, but at the same time, um, you know, I feel like that. I don't know. It just kind of depends on the situation, but acoustic shows can be a ton of fun. And like I say, there's money to be had there, and like and growth with your name and following continues to grow. There's just a lot of places these days that just don't do, especially in the wintertime,
Yeah.
they don't have space in these little bars and stuff to have a full band. They don't
Right.
have the budget so that you really can't afford to pay your whole band unless they're all going to play for $100 or less. And
Right.
my guys are all really professional guys, and I pay my guys well, and
Right.
so that's it's one of those things where you're trying to like, well, on certain occasions and certain shows that you feel like are really great opportunities, maybe you'll take, convince the guys to play for less because this is a really great opportunity. But otherwise, for the most part, you always would say like, well, this is what it costs for our full band. If you want the full band, this is what it's going to be. And but here's our acoustic option, and
Yep.
they'll a lot of times be like, oh yeah, that acoustic shop, that's much more of our price point, and the
Yep.
acoustic thing is better because the space is smaller, so whatever. So like it kind of like you open more doors to show opportunities. So
Right.
um so yeah, I mean, if you're ever gonna try to make it like really make a living playing music, you have to be taking on all of the above.
Yeah.
um so yeah, I don't know.
Good,
So
good
it's
advice.
not. Yeah, yeah.
So, I'll let you go here soon so you can have dinner. But what besides the acoustic thing, like as a brand new artist, what would be one of the most important things you think that someone should do to really like jumpstart their career? Or like what's one thing that you did
Mhm.
that really that you feel like really like helped you jump to the next level?
Well, there's a couple things. So like for me, like the I have that's one thing with me, like not super talented, but I have like a ton of work ethic. And so
Hmm.
for me, like just really like spending hours and hours and hours on my own down in the basement, whatever, just working on songs and playing nonstop. And my kids can even tell you, like, I mean, I'll play. I'm sure there's certain times where they like do not want to hear my voice anymore singing because I'll sit there and play and play and play. But that's the one thing is becoming so familiar with what you're doing and the songs you're playing, whether it's your original music or covers, so that when you're playing and you're performing, that you're as professional as possible, and
Yeah.
that you're not going up there and looking like you're lost and playing songs and making tons of mistakes and whatever. Like that kind of stuff just screams unprofessional and
Right.
whatever. And
Right.
so to me is number one is just really putting the time in and like really honing those skills.
Mhm.
Um, but at the same time, if you really want to like take it to the next level, you got to have someone that's like willing to help you like with that next level. So if you have a spouse that's like with my wife is very involved in doing what
Mhm.
we're doing, if it wasn't for that, like this wouldn't work. This is not going to
Right.
work either. Like
Right.
so, like uh, whether it's the support just to be like, allow me to go out and do what I do, but also um, the the social media stuff that she does and like making people aware that we have these shows and like taking photos and doing all these different things. uh Having a partner like that that's really kind of that can team up and really that can really help you take you to the next level too, because and if you don't have that partner, you're probably gonna have to hire somebody
Right.
to help you with that stuff, because to trying to do it completely on your own, sure, you can do it, but as far as if you really want to like really grow, you're gonna need somebody who's gonna like really get in the trenches as far as like getting these bigger shows for you. I mean, like we do some of these big festivals now, like we're doing Hoofbeat, the Country Fest in Wisconsin this year, which is like with
Oh, fun.
Brooks and Dunn and Lainey Wilson and Riley Green. And we're, some of these festivals we're getting into, it's only because of that type of stuff with having someone like my wife or
Mhm.
having someone who's like a hire a management or a booking person that you can hire. They can really open these doors for you to get in these festivals. Because I'm telling you right now, if you're just the artist, like sending an email to these festivals, they're like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, sounds good, or a lot of times they won't even do that. They won't even respond to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like so hard to break through. Like what's going to make you stand out, and like really having someone that's going to be like truly working for you and selling you to
Hmm.
these bigger shows and whatever, and like knowing your worth and your value, and like I don't know, because that's super important.
It
And
is.
it is
Sometimes
it's
it's hard to realize that, but it's true. I mean, we put a lot of time and effort and work into our passions, and
yeah.
it's for something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And yeah, and having the right people behind you is super important because not that you can't do it on your own, but it is
Right.
very, very, very hard. So if you really want to put the time in, like I said, like really working at your honing your skills as a musician, you need to try to focus on that as much as possible and have somebody else kind of help you with breaking some of these doors down. Um, so that's my opinion. So those are the two things that I think that are really important if you really want to take that next step. So yeah.
Cool.
I got a lot of steps to take myself still, so like it's hard for me to like really feel like I'm trying to give advice to other people because I'm still trying to figure it out myself. But that's we've definitely grown over the last few years, and that's a huge part of it. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Well, I think that's great advice because, yeah, like when I first started doing the CMO stuff, I had barely just started as a artist that was really trying to get out there, and I'm like, I don't even know what to do first. Like,
Hmm.
well,
Yeah, right. Where do you
I
start?
could
Yeah.
put a little dab of effort here and there and everywhere, but like, what do you start out with? So that's
Yeah,
good advice.
great. Well, awesome.
All right. Well,
Well, this
thanks
was
so
great.
much for chatting with me.
Absolutely, and hopefully you guys are doing well. As I mean, you're asking me all the questions, but hopefully your band is doing well, and hopefully we'll see you guys down there in
Yeah.
Iowa in April.
Yeah, for
So
sure. Yep. I told them long ago that we needed to book that weekend out because I think it's really
great.
beneficial all the way around. It's super inspirational. And now they have those speakers that are gonna talk
Yeah,
the day before
for
and
sure.
I missed out on the axe throwing last year, so we gotta be there for that.
Get there for that. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, well, we'll see you down there, and I'll send you those links to those
Yeah,
videos,
please do.
and yeah,
Cool.
excellent. Well, thanks, Jessica. Appreciate it. Good to see
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Take care. Good luck.
Thanks. You as
All right.
well. Bye-bye.
Yep, you bet. See ya.